Simply stunning.
Would you believe it?
Fantastic goal.
Welcome back to that 90s Premier League podcast. This is now episode 4, Jonesy. So we're in deep now, mate. How you doing?
We're veterans. We're professional podcasters now. Yeah, good,
Good, mate. Good.
Looking forward to another exciting episode.
Well, this is a little bit of a different episode this week, mate, isn't it? Because you and I have had many discussions over the last few days. And unfortunately, the Premier League has taken a little bit of a break. So we thought, do you know what? Maybe we should too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you can tell by the enthusiasm in our voice that it's the international break.
International break, yes.
I know. So obviously, we want to talk about everything 90s international. However, we have a little bit of a twist, don't we, Jonesy? So what are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to be talking about everything non-World Cup and European Championships, and we're going to dig into those forgotten tournaments, aren't we? Those little pre-season tournaments everyone seems to forget.
Well, because we asked a few people, didn't we, in terms of like what they want to talk about in terms of 90s international. Do you know how many people said the Umbro Cup in 95?
That gets a lot of love, to be
Incredible,
honest.
right?
Yeah.
I think it was like the forgotten gem of the 90s, I think.
Yes.
So we are going to touch upon that. Jonesy, obviously, you're dressed like an absolute Welsh wizard today with an Australian accent. So
yes.
tell me what you're wearing first, mate.
Okay, what am I wearing? I am wearing... Oh, before that, hold on. We're going to mix it up. There we go. For those audio listeners, we have just kind of rebranded the show. Now it's that 90s International Football Podcast. So if you see us on YouTube or watch us on Spotify, we have just mixed it up. So just changed our background a little bit. So yes.
It looks beautiful, by the way, mate.
Yes, thank you. I'm wearing the Wales 1994 to 95. I think they might have wore it in 96 as well. The home shirt.
Yeah.
I've noticed the last few episodes I've been saying, stinky and comfortable. This is comfy.
And smells delightful.
It does. It does. That smells good. It smells really good, actually. Yeah, I love this shirt.
Yeah, it's classic.
Memories, Ian Rush, Ryan Giggs, Dean Saunders. But what I did find when I was going for shirts, right, this is kind of mirrored, this template. Do you know what it's mirrored with?
I'm tempted to say it looks like an Oldham kind of shirt, if I can remember.
Correct. There we go. Look.
That's awesome.
Look, yes.
They're two cracking shirts, aren't they?
Yeah, I love this one. Yeah.
The size of the badge.
Yes. So
we should do a segment on your shirts every week. Like, how does Jonesy's shirt smell?
So you can see, as you said, the badge is pretty much the same color. I love, So well done. There you go. You know your shirts.
Well, I went for the pinstripe with inside the green piping on the shoulder. So I thought, it's delightful.
I tried to have a look at other teams who had it around this. I thought Sheffield United had it, but the collar's different. They obviously didn't have the pinstripe.
Let's not talk about that, Jonesy. Let's just move on from this. This is International Week. We don't need to discuss the blades. So beautiful Wales shirt, mate. Do you think that's your favourite Wales shirt of all time?
I've got another one. So I was going to show a bit later. Remember that one?
Oh, look at that print on the shirt. What year's that, Jonesy?
I think it was before this one, wasn't it?
I think, 92, 93. So for the listeners on the pod, Jonesy is holding up another beautiful Wales number, but it's got a huge dragon jacquard printed on the shirt, right? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
It was a hard choice to kind of decide what I was going to wear, but that's it.
What a Welsh start.
Yes.
I've gone full Graham Taylor, mate. Thanks for asking. I am dressed in the England, I think this is going to be 92 to 94 track jacket.
Yeah.
Graham Taylor famously wore this for England when England unsuccessfully qualified for the World Cup. But if I'm honest, I don't think anything we can show on this pod, mate, Umbro fail with, right? I mean, the colour of this is just glorious. I mean, the cuffs as well, if anyone can see.
That.
I mean, it's a beautiful track jacket. And I mean,
that's it.
Retro at its best. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to
This-
go gaffer
This podcast is sponsored by Umbro this week, by the way. So, yeah.
every week. Every week. So yeah, that is what we are wearing today.
Excellent.
So
All right.
what's next, Jonesy? Where are we going?
Stat of the week.
As we're a Premier League podcast, I do not want to stray from that in terms of stat of the week, but I still want to add a little bit of a sprinkling of international dust. So, Swedish footballer Stefan Schwarz. Remember him well, Jonesy?
Yes. Sweden, Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah. He also played for Fiorentina
Yes.
just after Arsenal, because he only had a very short spell with Arsenal. And I thought, because he only played like 34 games, I've read, I thought he was there longer.
Yeah. Is that right?
That's the, yeah, he literally like 34 games, and then he went off to Fiorentina after Arsenal.
No, that
So-
that's shocked me because I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he'd been around longer than that.
Exactly. Now, I could have thought that could have been a stat for itself, but no. I bring more. So, in 1999, Sunderland signed Stefan Schwarz for 3.75 million. However, at the time, Stefan Schwarz publicly declared that he was a space tourist. Now, he was very interested in space travel and once commented in going into space. However, the Black Cats said, no, this does not happen. And in his contract, they had basically put terms in his contract that if Stefan Schwarz were to travel beyond the Earth's atmosphere, his contract would become invalid.
Far out.
They're unbelievable, right? They had to put that in writing for Stefan Schwarz, just in case he jumped on, I don't know, Apollo 25 or whatever it is. Like, can you imagine that?
Is that right?
Yeah. You can't talk to another club. Oh, and you also can't travel outside of Earth. Right, there we go. So that's stat of the week, mate.
That was great. I enjoyed that one.
Thank you. Right.
Okay. On to mailbag memories.
What is that? I could tell you were brewing for something there, mate. I could see your face and the concentration of loading that up.
Enjoy that one?
Yes, and that caught me out tremendously. Right, so I almost started dancing at one point.
I thought I'd spring that one on. Mailbag memories. All right. Right.
Okay.
Into it. There you go.
Right, who have we got?
All right. Let's go to mailbag memories. So there we go. We've got one from Russell.
Good old Russ.
Your boy. Yeah, got a Rusty.
Right,
All
scorpion kick from, well, shall we say, can you pronounce his surname? Okay, it's Rene, I think his first name is, and sorry for any Colombian football fans out there, but it's the chap that did the scorpion kick. Now, obviously, the game, I can remember watching this, the game at Wembley between England and Colombia was like horrendous. I think it finished 0-0, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a rubbish game. Yeah, you're right.
So obviously he took it upon himself. I can still picture him now with his Bon Jovi mullet and his Dimitri Karin trousers. And obviously there was one point where he completed the most tremendous scorpion kick. And I can remember the reaction from Wembley, let alone the commentators. It's almost like when a game goes to panning around and watching the Mexican wave in the stadium, you know you got a dud.
Yes.
So obviously that scorpion kick was incredibly memorable, right?
That was everywhere. I remember on the papers, on the news.
I can remember so many people trying to replicate it at school as well. And I mean, it was an incredible acrobatic feat. He also mentions here as well, England going 1-0 down to San Marino. Now, obviously, that was a crucial time for the Three Lions because we had to beat San Marino. I think it was by 6 goals, wasn't it? I think.
Yes.
Because obviously we got beat by Netherlands the game before to qualify for USA 94. We got off to a flyer, didn't we, mate? We went 1-0 down to San Marino after so many seconds. Stuart Pearce giving a lovely back pass.
Yes.
Um,
you just think, I mean, obviously the result, but you just think, what's going on?
Yeah. True England fashion, mate. I know.
Yeah.
The game finished 7-1. to England. So we did redeem ourselves. We did our bit, but we didn't have to make it hard work. And this one is these two next ones are relatively new to us, Jonesy, aren't they? I mean, when we did our research for this,
we had to deep dive, yeah.
So Northern Ireland versus the Republic of Ireland. So a classic Irish derby in 1993 played at Windsor Park.
Yes.
So obviously a huge game between the two, and it finished 1-1. Classic Jimmy Quinn scoring for Republic of Ireland. And who scored for Republic of Ireland? Sorry, Northern Ireland was Jimmy Quinn.
Yeah, Alan McLaughlin.
Alan McLaughlin, yeah. So obviously an incredibly tense affair. That was at a group stage, though, wasn't it? Because the Republic of Ireland went on to the USA famously, didn't they, under Jack Charlton?
So, yeah, from the research, obviously the match was played in a tense and charged atmosphere with no away fans allowed due to security concerns.
Crikey. I think they had something similar though when England played, didn't they, as well? Because they had to have match abandoned, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Crikey, right. And then we have the CIS versus Denmark in 1992.
We did our research on that one as well, obviously, yeah. So the Commonwealth of Independent States, who nearly shocked Germany in the group stage. They featured players like Dimitri Karin and Andrei Kanchelskis.
Cool. Can you remember their kit?
Yeah.
It was the 3 Adidas stripes, wasn't it, on the shoulders, and then the CIS printed in the middle, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
God, crikey, nearly beating Germany as well. They were at their pomp at that time, weren't they?
A 90th minute equaliser by Germany.
Lovely shout, Russell. That's good questions, mate. Or stats even. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Excellent. Next, we go on to Adam Pipe. Yeah, he sent a lot in. I'll tell you what. He loves the 90s. So, hi, my favourite 90s international moments, memories. So, Diana Ross, penalty miss at USA 94.
So powerful, it cracked the goal in half, right?
Oh, what a strike. Roberto Baggio's ponytail.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
And then the front two are of Brazil, for Mario and Bebeto, with a 17-year-old Ronaldo on the bench.
See, I remember, so firstly, we need to touch on Baggio, because I can remember as a kid, I had a dentist with Baggio's hair. I mean, he had the sharp mullet on top, and he had the ponytail on the back. Now, obviously, I probably wasn't too aware of Baggio right early in the 90s, but I can remember that was a shocking hairstyle, right?
Yes, shocking miss as well in that final.
Shocking miss, yeah. But, I mean, I think he made USA 94, though, didn't he? Because, I mean, he tore defences apart in the group stages.
One memory I have of that final afterwards, the next day in school, people were trying to recreate the penalty miss in the playground.
Recreating a miss?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just trying to do the Baggio, I remember.
God, that's insults, isn't it? Crikey.
Yeah.
Do the Baggio.
Do the Baggio. Okay, and then obviously he goes on about basically all of Euro 96, which I think we'll touch on in the future episode.
Oh, Adam, yeah. You have raised an absolute stormer of a topic there, mate. We are going to cover that. Do you remember Babetto's celebration, though, in USA 94, Jonesy?
Yes. Was it the cradle? Yes.
I remember that was the first time I remember the cradle, because I can remember everyone used to line up, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that was the joint celebration. And I can remember that's used a lot now, but I can remember, I think Babetto was probably the first to do it. This was before Fortnite was introduced and everyone doing stupid celebrations.
And then he goes to having so many Wednesday players in the 90s England team.
Music to my ears, Adam. Music to my ears. Can you name any Sheffield Wednesday players in the 90s, Jonesy? For England?
Goal?
Yeah. David Hurst.
David Hurst. Colin Palmer.
Sinton,
yeah. God,
Chris Waddle. Beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How we didn't win anything with that squad. I mean, let's move on swiftly. Thanks, Adam. You've brought me to tears.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're going to touch on some international chat.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's bring some enjoyment to this pod.
Yeah.
International football, mate, for me, just before we proceed, I mean, I want to know your views on this, mate, because every season when there's an international break, it just seems to be really flat now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I can't get up for these England friendlies or these UEFA Nations Leagues. So can you remember back in the 90s, particularly with Wales, can you remember like getting excited for these games? Were there a lot of hype around it, sort of like mid-season, or was it just as flat as it is now?
I'd only get hyped if we were playing a team like San Marino or Liechtenstein because
Right,
it's
okay.
guaranteed victory. Um,
But you had a good squad, right?
we had a great squad.
Because you mentioned the top three of Saunders, Rush, and Giggs. I mean, what, Gary Speed, Vinnie Jones,
Yep. Vinnie Jones.
Mark Hughes.
Yep. Neville Southall.
Oh, Neville Southall in goal.
Yeah.
See, how
Barry
did you
Horn.
not get? Yeah, Barry Horn. Yeah, Barry Horn. Who else did you have? Like, did you have who were your centre backs? Would that have been Kit Simons?
Yeah.
No.
Was there Chris Coleman? He played the
Chris
back.
Cole. So you had some absolute colossus defenders.
Yeah, we had a good team. It just wouldn't click, would it?
Well, we'll go on to the groups and things that we've discovered since, because I think there's a little bit of coverage you want to do on Wales, mate, isn't there?
Oh yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. As I said, I think we're going to touch on some of those forgotten tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because going back, there was quite a few. Obviously, when there's no major tournaments, you had those little tournaments, which
Pockets full of happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have the Nations League. We didn't have we didn't have those kind of like competitive ones at that stage, did we? These were all summer tournaments, weren't they?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So usually around June, July.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one I want to touch on, the US Cup in 1993.
Right. For the listeners out there, hands up from Woody. All right, confession to make. I completely forgot about this tournament. And this is why this podcast is beautiful, because if I fail, Jonesy delivers.
Yeah.
Right. So Jonesy, talk to us about this.
Yeah. So the US Cup. So it was set in 1993. Featured Germany, Brazil, USA, and England.
Wow.
So it features the teams that were going to, it was a trial run of the World Cup. Hence why England were there.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Guaranteed to go, weren't we, mate?
Oh, they were on the plane, weren't they?
I mean, you've just brought the table up, right? And I mean, just the fact that is not only the group stage of death in any other World Cup combination, like this is a friendly tournament held in the US. So the fixtures looked incredible.
Yeah, so the first fixture for obviously I've just put England's as we're going to feature England in these tournaments.
Yeah.
So USA beat England 2-0, which was a shock.
How on earth did that happen?
Yes, and obviously that got Graham Taylor a lot more. I mean, you look back at it now, it's disgraceful. Like the way the press treated him, like it was
absolutely
bullying.
Absolutely,
It was. And he had, the Sun having headlines: Yanks 2, Planks 0.
Yeah,
and having Turnip, and it was just look. It's pretty disgusting to when you look back at it now. What he had to go through.
I mean, it's not as if we've actually come from a rich history of winning tournaments, is it? I mean, we've won one. Like, there's not an expectancy every tournament for us to win the trophy. I know we get close. But yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think Graham Taylor was treated appallingly in his sort of like stint as England manager. And I feel really sorry for him because he was a great Premier League manager, in my opinion.
Yeah. That second game's not a bad result as well. England won, Brazil won.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of USA at that time, though, that was the great Alexi Lalas.
Yep, there he is. Do you know what I think about that photo? I've just put a photo of him celebrating. They made, if you search that, they made trading cards. They made merchandise out of that photo.
Because it was like the War of Independence, mate. I think they got one over England, didn't they?
Yeah. They because that was unexpected.
That's a hell of a kit there as well, though. That one, isn't it?
Let's show it. Look at that. Oh, so I love that template.
Is that their home or their away?
Yeah. I think that's home. England played in the red
Right.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before that one, obviously you got one behind. Before that one.
So for listeners, that kit is the white American kit with the stripes over the shoulder, and it goes, is it red, blue, red, or the other way around?
Let's put it back up. So
Blue, red, blue. Yeah.
I love that template. And look at the shorts as well.
So that's like traditional 90s Liverpool template, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lush. Yeah. Great pick.
And then obviously they got beaten by Germany 2-1 in the final game. So Germany went on to win the tournament. Yes, and England went home with 1 point.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a trophy to have won, I suppose. It would have done Graham Taylor a favour, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was in that transitional period, wasn't it, of Italian 90. Like, Bobby Robson has gone.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that kind of lull period, didn't we, as a nation, where it was that kind of handover of new manager, different tactics, new players brought in. And then obviously, I suppose it was that kind of drab period of building up to Euro 96, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, interesting, mate.
Hey,
I like it.
Yeah, so the US Cup, and then a few years later, we go on to a favourite, 1995.
Here we go.
That.
Right. Tell us about the Umbro Cup then, Jonesy. What have we got on the screen?
All right. So we've got the table. So it was won by Brazil. So it featured, before that, it featured Brazil, England, Sweden, and Japan.
There's a good mix.
Question, right? Yeah. So Umbro Cup. Who made Sweden's kits?
I know. I know. Right. It's almost like they didn't reply to the memo, isn't it? But, oh, quick, just get Sweden in. They're Adidas, though. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
That is a very good piece of information there, because, at the time, that probably goes unnoticed. But for us kit collectors, we know everything.
Yeah. What's your memories of that? That tournament? Talked about, as I said, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I can remember watching it, and I remember I absolutely loved the Japanese kit and the Swedish kit. I just thought they were amazing, and I loved watching that game in particular. There were some great players coming through in this tournament as well, because this was obviously used as a trial run, right, for Euro 96.
Yes.
So obviously, in terms of the stadiums used, so we've got Ellen Road, Goodison Park for Everton, Wembley. Who else do we have? The City Ground.
Was Hillsborough used, or?
I don't think Hillsborough was used. Villa Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, Villa Park, yeah.
Villa Park, yeah. So we've had some great sort of traditional stadiums used. I don't think Goodison Park, though, that wasn't, or City Ground, that wasn't used in Euro 96, was it? So maybe they failed the trial run. Because Hillsborough was used in 96, wasn't it? As was Old Trafford and Anfield.
Yeah. Go back and have a look. Maybe we'll talk about it in the Euro 96 episode.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. Yeah. So I've got some stats on these, mate, as of course I've got my trusty Premier League ring binder that's not internationally specified.
Yes.
So only 21 goals scored in the whole tournament, mate. Now, for the teams on show, I think that's quite disappointing, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Look how many goals
21 goals
conceded.
Yeah. I mean, so top scorer of the tournament in the Umbro Cup was Sweden's Kenneth Andersson with 3. I mean, like Brazil, they had, I know it was an emerging Ronaldo, so he wasn't the PSV, Barcelona, Inter Milan Ronaldo, but he was still there. I mean, we still had great strikers for England. And Sweden, I mean, was Larsson knocking about? Would he have been there? Or was that too young?
I think he was there. He was at World Cup 94, wasn't he?
So we are seeing a lot of... He was there in 94, definitely. I remember 94.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're looking at the England squad. So I've done a little bit of research in terms of the squad itself. And I think, again, it was a trial run for England as well, because we've got the lights of... Right, this was a regularly featured midfield for England in the Umbro Cup, right? David Batty, Peter Beardsley, David Platt, and Darren Anderton. as a midfield four. Do you not find that incredibly random, Jonesy?
Was that the tournament? I read somewhere Paul Ince was
Yeah.
frozen out. Did he
Yeah.
fall out with Venables or something?
Mhm.
Something happened?
Yeah, that was another one. So him and Andy Cole were left out of the Umbro Cup. Now
Yeah.
you think 1995, so that was wow. Was that just after Blackburn won? It was, wasn't it? 94, 95.
Yeah, so the tournament was in June, wasn't it? Yeah.
So obviously Batty was on top form for Blackburn.
Chris Sutton. Chris Sutton's not there, is he?
But I mean, that's what I mean. It's such a weird thing because Andy Cole was still firing on all cylinders for England at that point. Paul Ince was still in centre mid for Man United because he was a regular feature of that season. Anderton for Tottenham, though, I mean, they didn't have a great year. And David Platt, I mean, was David Platt, he wasn't at Arsenal then, was he? Was he at Sampdoria?
Yeah.
So I think it was a real trial and error. And we're looking at defence, mate. I mean, John Scales, Colin Cooper, and Warren Barton with Gary Neville. I mean, I know that was Gary Neville's kind of like hello, wasn't it, to the England scene because he was,
Yeah, it was his
slowly.
introduction, yeah.
Yeah, so that's famously sort of documented. But I mean, that's absolutely crazy, in my opinion, in terms of actually fielding that team. Because yes, it's a trial run for the stadiums, the country of hosting a tournament, but we've got on record here that England hadn't played a competitive match within 18 months of this Umbro Cup because they didn't qualify for World Cup 94 and the gap in between. So you would have thought that they'd have gone hell for leather for this one, mate, wouldn't you?
You would have thought so. I mean, that obviously that England 3-3 draw with Sweden. Oh,
beautiful game, right?
Yeah.
Because that was 2 goals right at the end, if I remember rightly, for England. Because we were 3-1 down, weren't we?
Yeah, and then obviously the last game, 3-1 defeat. It's Brazil.
That classic photo.
There we go. I've got
Look at that on screen. The only time Ronaldo wears an England shirt.
I was going to say, greatest player to ever wear England.
Let's just, whilst this on, I'll get this on screen. Right, so I've got this England burgundy away shirt here. What do you reckon, mate?
I had that shirt. I don't know why I sold it. I sold a lot of stuff. I regret.
Bit of a big collar, though, right?
Yeah, but I was always, as a kid, I mean, I know I was born in Wales, but I wanted that shirt.
Yeah. Do you know, right, I've got fond memories of this because I had the full kit as a kid.
Sure.
And I can remember they used to come in boxes. So we bought them at a sports shop and they had like an Umbro box. Because obviously it was a kid's kit. It wasn't an adult's kit, but it had the socks and the shorts and my mum bought it. And we had it in a little like clear plastic box. And it was glorious. Like the shirt itself is incredible because it's obviously got the badge and the jacquard print on there, but it's also got Umbro as like a stripe going down the back of it. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you said, though, it's a bit of an uncomfortable one, but I can remember the shorts had like the navy blue trim around the bottom. Again, very similar, mate, to your kind of Wales design in terms of the shorts and the kind of socks, because it has that thick kind of cuff to it, doesn't it? And to the shorts and stuff. So beautiful kit, right?
Yeah, I've got the...
You've got the actual Umbro taping, haven't you?
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I love that tournament. Great tournament.
Yeah. I mean, Brazil winning all 3 games, I mean, was a classic really for that, wasn't it? And I mean, the next season, obviously, when we will touch upon Euro 96, but I think for great football, I mean, I can remember, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but Graham Lassau's goal against Brazil at Wembley was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was a cracker.
So,
I was replaying that on YouTube a few weeks ago. Some of the goals in that tournament, cracking tournament.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I think you've got it there as well. How good the programs were for that tournament.
Yeah. Yeah,
There we go.
I'll hold up to screen. So this one is Saturday, the 11th of June, 1995, England versus Brazil at Wembley, kick-off at 4 p.m. So I'm holding to the screen the match day programme. So in Brazil's team, there were players such as Cafu, Roberto Carlos, who was at Palmeiras at the time. Cafu was at Real Zaragoza. Aldair, Ronaldo, Dunga, Cesar Sampaio, who was at Yokohama Flugels. Leonardo, who was at Kashima Antlers. So loads of these Brazilian players, mate, were actually at Japanese clubs. I mean, you've got Ronaldo here at PSV.
It still happens today.
Yeah, yeah. There is like a link, isn't there, between Brazil and Japan?
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we're talking about like the squad for England. I mean, David Unsworth, Jamie Redknapp, Peter Beardsley, Stan Collymore, another player to have fallen by the wayside. Your beloved Tim Flowers, mate.
Should have got more caps.
But there's like what I find odd, right? And again, this has just come to me now, but Tim Flowers and Ian Walker, there is no mention of David Seaman whatsoever. Now, Tim Flowers had the season of his life for Blackburn. Now, where on earth has he just suddenly dropped off and then David Seaman ends up as number one for Euro 96?
Where's David James?
No David James. But obviously, the front cover of this programme, for those that aren't watching on YouTube, has got the classic photo of Pele and Bobby Moore kind of having the cuddle after the end of the 1970 World Cup. So, great picture.
It is. As I said, I've got a collection of the Umbro Cup. I love that. I'm a fan of programs, as you are as well. But they put a lot of effort into it, didn't they?
Well, we've had a few comments, haven't we, from CPFC, Crystal Palace shirts, and he says that basically the programme is a forgotten kind of gem in football now, isn't it? Because if you look at all these pictures of like the Umbro Cup, I mean, like Japan versus Sweden, there was just so much to it, wasn't there? This is almost like an annual.
Yeah.
And there's your beloved Mitre Delta being used in the... Oh, no, it's not a Delta, it's a Pro Max. As the kit for... as the ball for England.
Is that the one on the opening cover with Shearer with the Umbro boot? Is that the...
Yes, this one.
Used to love those adverts.
Yeah. I mean, they were great boots as well, weren't they? The Umbro specials. Yeah. Should we have an episode on boots, Jonesy?
Yeah. I have my Roberto Baggio Deodoras.
Roberto Baggio's Deodoras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff and profile on the teams. What did you think of the kits then? Because obviously we've spoken about England's away. What do you think of the kits in general? Because I think Japan's was an absolute beast, right? Didn't they play around with the same template but with different manufacturers? Or am I completely wrong there?
Japan was Adidas as well, eh?
Yeah, because they've had Asics, haven't they? And they've had Puma, maybe. But again, this is another Adidas. So much for an Umbro Cup special. Yeah. I mean, did they not want to invite Wales, Jonesy?
Too busy.
Only around the corner.
Too busy playing Leyton Orient. Get onto that later. Yeah.
Yeah, great tournament though, mate. We can summarise with saying all hail the Umbro Cup, right?
Absolutely. Still gets talking about.
Thanks for these tables, mate. They're class. They look great.
We're going to go to 1997, Le Tournoi. Say it. Remember memories of this one?
This was when I first started collecting Corinthians figures, because I believe PG Tips did the classic Le Tournoi big heads, didn't they, for these? Because I remember getting about 80 Sol Campbells and 80 Paolo Maldinis and I think 5 Gary Nevilles. And it was a trial. I think, I might be wrong, but I think this might have been like the trial run, because they had the Tournoi kits, didn't they? And we did really well in this tournament, Jonesy, didn't we?
Did. You won it.
I say we, sorry. I know you're Welsh. I'm so sorry,
Okay, mate.
collectively saying this. But yeah, England did really well.
But looking at that table, look how many goals England scored.
Woof. Yeah. Not many at all. How on earth did we survive? 3 goals.
3 and 3.
Wow.
Must be
So
defensively. Yeah.
you've probably got the same answer as me, mate. But what was the standout moment for Le Tournoi in 1997? Come on, hit me with it.
Was it a free kick?
Yes, it was. Who scored that free kick?
Roberto Carlos?
Ugh. It almost like I can remember seeing it from that point of view of behind him, right? And he hit it so hard that it looked like it was going out of the stadium at one point, didn't he?
I remember watching that game. I was in my room and I was kind of reading something, and then I had the game on in the background.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I'm like, did he just do that?
It's a 30-yard free kick with a 20-yard run-up.
Dear, dear! I don't believe it! What a goal we have just seen from Roberto Carlos. That is amazing!
It was an absolute rocket because I remember Barthez just stood there and he was like looking to his left and he was like, oh, all right. Honestly, he hit it with such venom because both of his legs were up in the air. It was like a karate kick, but with a swerve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like something from Dragon Ball Z. It was incredible.
It's like, remember those old flyaway footballs?
Yeah.
Crappy footballs you used to get. Flyaway, like,
Don't kick it too hard, Roberto. It's going to come back.
yeah. But like, yeah, incredible.
That was a brilliant. Yeah.
That's another clip that you just get shown.
Oh,
all
all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
do they still do these tournaments now before World Cups, or is that classed as the Confederations Cup? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't. If they do, I don't watch them.
But for those of you that can't remember the tournoi, it's obviously England, Brazil, France, and Italy, right?
Yes.
And this was another trial run for France '98.
Yeah, that's right. So it seems to be before these tournaments, they have a bit of a trial run. That first game, England, Italy. Oh,
Yeah.
I think Ian
Yeah.
Wright, Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what a game.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did our beloved Alan Shearer scoop the an award for this one, Jonesy?
As in, yeah, was he top scorer or was he?
Was he top scorer? I don't know. Or did he win player of the tournament? I think he might have won Golden Boot, but was it just one goal?
No, because he would have scored one goal because they only scored 3. So, because he scored against France, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm trying to think though. Did he win player of the tournament?
Could be. As I said, we've got that epic photo.
There you go.
How happy he is. He's a proud Englishman. Look at that.
It looks like it's one of those Cocoa Pop cereal bowls upside down as well. He's holding, isn't it? So it's not even a good trophy. It's like one of those classic black and
I saw
white.
one of them on eBay the other day. Actually, now you mention it, one of those.
The what? The Alan? Oh, not the Alan Shearer trophy. It's not put on eBay.
No, the Cocoa Pops. Thoughts on that kit?
I have owned this kit. I don't have it anymore. Close up, it's glorious because obviously it's again very similar to the burgundy kind of Umbro kit. It's the George flag. Well, you're not.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks good in long sleeve, but
I love the central Umbro logo and badge though. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
I can remember that kit though. That's the David Beckham free kick against Colombia and then him doing the kind of celebration on his knees, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
right, yeah.
What beaut.
What a beaut. We should just mention England lost their last game against Brazil. Did you notice that these last 3 tournaments?
Why did you have to finish with that?
Sorry. But Brazil has been in the last, obviously, the US Cup, Umbro Cup, Le Tournoi. So there you go. Tournament
Haunting us.
Yes.
Did we wear burgundy against Brazil again, do you reckon? We did, didn't we? Why do we keep wearing burgundy against Brazil? What's with that?
Don't know, but great tournament. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and again, leading up to France '98, which I'm sure we will cover, mate, because we want to do a World Cup special, don't we? And I mean,
yeah, we do.
Kits, teams, ground.
I was just about to say kits. I think the best set of kits going around, but we'll talk about that. Beautiful. Yes, excellent. There you go. Back in the zone.
Back in the room.
back in the room. Still memorable tournaments. US Cup probably not mentioned as much as the other two.
Well, there is another. It wasn't actually because I thought, obviously, with you being a proud Australian, Jonesy,
Yeah, mate.
and the fact that it wasn't a tournament, but in the summer of 1991, from the 1st of June to the 12th of June, England under Graham Taylor went to Australia and played against Australia, New Zealand, and Malaysia in a cup. It wasn't a cup,
Okay.
it was just a series of friendlies.
Yeah.
So we beat Malaysia, beat Australia, and beat New Zealand. Now, players that went to that game, because it was 91, so this is probably Graham Taylor's first few games as England manager after Bobby Robson left,
After
right?
Bobby, yeah, I reckon you're right.
So players that went to this one, I think it was held in New Zealand. I might be wrong.
Okay.
Dennis Wise, Earl Barrett, Brian Dean, Nigel Clough, David Hurst, and John Solarco. So those are some of the players. Now, we've just come out of, well, not just come out of, but Italia 90, okay? We don't need to remind everyone of the players. I mean, we can. We've got a plethora of Gascoigne, Waddle, Lineker, Barnes, Beardsley. We've got all those players, and then we suddenly do a complete shift change to Earl Barrett and Dennis Wise. I mean, is that Graham Taylor being a bit kind of, this is my team now?
Could be, couldn't it?
Because this was before the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it, I think, in a previous episode, like when a manager comes in, for example, Graham Souness, when he takes over Liverpool, you know,
Yeah.
he brings in
Yeah.
the youth, brings in,
Yeah.
you know, random players, Julian Dix, you know, players like that. But I think you could be right. I think it's just, you know, it's time for the new breed, isn't it? It's the new era.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a. I mean, I'm all for giving new players a chance and seeing how they sort of take off. I mean, David Hurst was obviously a great player at that time in the mid-90s for Sheffield Wednesday, banging them in. It's just funny how none of those players that I've mentioned there really stuck in the England team for much, did they? 'Cause, I mean, I can't recall them at Euro 92.
Does anyone remember Euro 92?
No, not really, mate. I think that was another dull tournament, but again, we'll cover that off in the Euros. But let's go back to you, mate, and your beloved Wales.
All right. Before that, do you want to talk about the England B?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
England B. Yeah, let's talk about England B. Go on, then, mate.
Yeah. Because going through it, you know, mid-90s, the players, you know, we've talked about the players who couldn't get regular Fowlers, Coles, Suttons, players like that. So doing a bit of research about the England B, it was used obviously in the 70s. I think Ron Greenwood, Bobby Robson took over. He actually had 9 England B games in 1989 and 1990.
Wow.
9.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Because bearing in mind, mate, I didn't know this until you told me, but the England manager also managed the B, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. From the research I've seen, yeah. I think, obviously, these days, I think it'd be the end of the 21s, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But Graham Taylor, he held regular games. Terry Venables held 2 games, B games, in 1994, and Glenn Hoddle only had 2 in 1998. And after that, do you know when the next B game was after 1998?
I couldn't even remember after 98, because I know it was Loftus Road, wasn't it? One of the last ones before the World Cup. But
so the next one was held in 2006.
2006?
Yeah.
Why did we not have a game between that? Wow. Okay.
The last one, I can't even remember. Do they still do it? Does that team still?
Well,
I think.
No, that's what I mean. Like England B. I mean, I think personally, I think that is a great way of keeping players interested in international football, right? The ones that actually want to work their way up to England, because a lot of players now are just like, well, if I'm not picked for the team, I'll just go on holiday. I ain't bothered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you had the England B, you'd still be in the international setup. You'd be in within a sniff of the first team. And wouldn't it not drive you a bit more to go, do you know what? I ain't playing in the B anymore. I want to be in the top one. You know?
Yeah.
Great idea.
So yeah. So just looking back at it in the history of the B, and I've just picked out 2 games in 1994, which Terry Venables, so he was coaching as well. So starting with, so I've got the lineup for the there you go, graphics, which I've taken
Beautiful graphics, by the way.
inspiration from Sky Sports.
As is England B versus Northern Ireland B, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was held the 10th of May, 1994. Guess what ground? You can see probably in the background there.
That looks a little bit like Hillsborough.
Yeah, correct.
Is that Hillsborough?
It is.
Hey.
Yeah. So only just over 8,000 attendance.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it was, as I said, we've got I don't know if you want to read the lineup. So I've got the England lineup on the screen there. If you want to read it out.
Kevin Pressman in goal. Do you know what? Is this like a kind of, we're playing at Hillsborough, we've got to feature a few Wednesday players, do you reckon? I'm starting to think now.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got Kevin Pressman in goal. We've got Warren Barton, Steve Bold, John Scales, John Beresford, Chris Bart-Williams, what a player. Rob Lee, Paul Merson, Chris Sutton, Dean Holsworth, and Rolf Fox. I mean, if you were to say, right, because we obviously talk 90s Premier League, that still is a classic Premier League squad, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Bart Williams and Rob Lee in midfield, Paul Merson, Chris Sutton, Rolf Fox. I mean, what strong squad.
Yeah, and also the subs were Alan Stubbs, who was playing in Division 1 then for Bolton, Nigel Martin.
That in itself is credible. Alan Stubbs making the England B team from Bolton.
Yeah, Richard Edgehill from Man City, Nicky Summersby from Man City, and Chris Armstrong.
Yeah, I can remember Summersby for Man City. I remember that.
Yeah, so England won 4-2. So the scorers for England were Dean Holsworth, Paul Merson, Steve Bold, and John Scales.
Wow. Yeah.
And as I said, the Northern Ireland team featured players like Alan Fettis in goal, Kingsley Black, Kevin Horlock, Neil Lennon, Steve Lomas. Here's a bit of trivia. Who do you reckon would be captain for England looking at that?
Looking at that, I'd have to give it to Steve Bold.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking like, he's probably the most experienced player there, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, closely followed by Rob Lee, but I think Rob Lee was probably early days at Newcastle, wasn't he, on that one?
Yeah, correct. So I haven't got it written down, but so you had that team, and 7 days later, the England full team played a game. So there we go. So I guess it's
right. So these were played. So England 7 days later played Northern Ireland in the first team.
Sorry,
is that how it worked?
I did have the stats up. Let's have a look. So, so 7 days later, they played Greece and won 5-0.
Huh. Right. Okay. So it wasn't okay. So it wasn't worked out as in like the Bees play the teams, because they do that sometimes, don't they? Like the under 21s or the under 20s.
I think they did it for the second side. So I'll show the second game.
Yeah.
There we go. And this one, what ground is that at? There you go. It's a bit obvious.
Anfield, surely. Yeah.
Yep. What do you reckon the attendance was? I think that.
I hope it's more than 8,000, mate.
No, less, 7.5.
Are you kidding me? What's wrong with people? Why aren't you going to want to watch this game? This is like pretty.
Do you want to read the lineup as well?
Oh, yeah. So
this was so the first one was in December, May. Sorry, this one was the 13th of December, 1994.
Okay, right. England B versus Republic of Ireland B. Pressman in goal again. Go on, Kev. Warren Barton, Sol Campbell, John Scales, Neil Ruddock, John Beresford, Tim Sherwood, Jason Wilcox, Andy Cole, Chris Sutton, and Rolf Fox.
And look at those subs.
Oh my God. Who's on the subs bench, Jonesy? Come on.
Hugo Ekiog, David
Yeah.
James,
Yeah.
Nick Barmby, Jamie Redknapp, Robbie Fowler.
Again, that is a real Liverpool heavy bench, right?
Well, you could put that out as a first team, like as a...
Couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Cole and Sutton up front. That's lethal.
Yeah, I mean, then you bring Fowler into the mix as well.
Yeah.
So
That is a great side.
Yeah, so that was a 2-0 win for England. Goals by Andy Cole and Robbie Fowler. All right, this is a bit of a tricky one. Who do you reckon captain was?
Oh,
Leaders in there.
there is some leaders. Do you know what? My first instinct is Razor Ruddock.
Correct.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Oh, I'm genuinely chuffed for Ruddock. I love Razor Ruddock.
Do you reckon it was because of Anfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, Steve Bold at Sheffield. I mean,
Yeah,
but
true.
what a squad again. And I mean, no disrespect to Kevin Pressman, because I love Kevin Pressman and he was a great goalkeeper for Wednesday. But at that time, was he? Because I'm viewing this as like England B, as in if Seaman or Flowers kind of has a cold, Kev, you're in. Like, is he really the next one there?
Well, David James is there, isn't he?
I would have said David James or maybe Ian Walker. Would they have not tested him a bit more? Like, or those for the players that didn't make the first team in the game. So, for example, we look at the Umbro Cup, we've got Tim Flowers and Ian Walker. Surely, if Tim Flowers is playing all those group games, Ian Walker's got to play in the B, keep him match ready, isn't he?
You think so?
Wow.
Let's just have a look. So yeah, obviously that was a 2-0 win for England. So some players that played for Ireland.
Yeah.
So we got Keith Brannigan in goal, and you got players like Phil Batt, Kenny Cunningham, Jeff Kenner, Jason McAteer, Andy Townsend, Ronnie William, and David Kelly.
Jason McAteer, Andy Townsend were playing in this B team.
Yeah, they were.
Wow. And then you've got Keith Brannigan in goal. Is that the Bolton goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yeah. So this game was held in December.
Yeah.
And the next England proper game was in February. I think it was the game that was Republic of Ireland versus England, which was postponed.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm amazed at this, mate, to be honest. I mean,
So was I when yeah.
I mean,
had a few messages about we've had a few chats about England B. So just going back in like the research, and you're like, holy shit.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of these players didn't really get a sniff in at all, did they, in the first team?
No.
I mean, I think so. Warren Barton was injured, wasn't he, for Euro 96? And that's why Gary Neville got a look in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it Beresford that was injured?
Or was it Steve Howie?
Oh, crikey, it might be. It was one of them from Newcastle.
Yeah.
Rule Fox as well. I mean, a great attacking player. Great seasons with Newcastle, and then obviously going to Tottenham, didn't he? But he was a classic winger from the Premier League. You got the likes of Waddle and I know Giggs is Welsh, but that kind of ilk from Rule Fox. I mean, why on earth did he not think? I suppose McManaman's keeping him out. Shut up, Woody. You know the answer. Yeah.
A headache for Terry, though.
Yeah, what a beautiful headache for Terry.
Sat there going, how the heck am I going to fit these in?
I mean, yeah, I think what bores me now, and particularly about Southgate, was he stuck to his traditional John Stones, Harry Maguire, Jordan Pickford, Trippier. Like, no disrespect to those players. They are great players, but in the times we need to freshen it up, didn't we? And I think that's why an England B would be brilliant for us now. Because Dan Burns come in, Conser. So all these players that are coming in, that's what an England B could offer us now. I'm going to put my hat in the ring, Jonesy. I know you live in Australia, but you and I could take England B. I've got the jacket for it. Just saying.
As well.
We'll just hide the fact that you're Welsh, and we'll take it to new heights. We could bring back England B and get more than 8,000 in the grounds as well.
Oh yeah, let's do a B tournament. Imagine that.
In today's football, that would be class, wouldn't it?
It would. It would.
Right. That's great. I
Excellent.
love that.
Yeah, you like that one? I like that one.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
enjoyed
mate.
putting that together. Rip it off Sky Sports.
Can I just say, before we move on, I need to publicly thank you for these top class edits and the effort that you put in every week to our podcast.
I love it, mate.
I'm not going to get emotional, but I think you are top class. One, with your Instagram posts, and two, with the edits that you do. So, guys, for those that are listed on Spotify, every week, Jonesy does an amazing job on all the graphics, all of the edits, all of the sound bites. So if you get a chance to watch it on YouTube, please let him know how awesome he is, because this is top-notch stuff. I'm very lucky. Well done, mate.
You're too kind, mate. You're too kind. As I said, I love it. I enjoy it. And yeah, what are we talking about next?
That was emotional. Let's move on. Let's go to one more emotional subject to another. Should we talk about Wales?
Oh, yes. Yes. So what you had, being an England fan, you had some highlights, some low times, some good times in being in England.
I had highlights in my hair, Jonesy. I didn't have highlights in as an England career. I mean, we're talking penalty shootouts with a
You had some good
vein of
times
my life
on the mainstream, being in Holland, Euro 96 and things like that. You had some good times. Wales.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, Wales, though. For considering even like going back to it, me living in Wales, the games are shown on either S4C or BBC Wales. Right, considering I'm living on the coast.
Yeah.
I can't bloody get these channels, right?
Well, you couldn't then?
No, so I had to sit in my room with one of those, obviously, coat hanger aerials, get it to a certain way and watch Wales through the fuzziness
Oh,
of a
mate.
small TV. This is the pain of, because...
Whereabouts were you in Wales at the time, though?
On the North Wales coast. So so right at the top there.
Like Aberystwyth way?
No, further than that, at the top.
Oh, wow. And you literally had a TV aerial held up to get signal?
Yeah, in my room, yeah. Because where we were, for some reason, our strongest connection was like Granada and BBC Northwest, so we get the English. So
you had great signal for Corrie, but nothing else?
Yeah. Nah, nothing else. Yeah. So there were my memories. So I sat in my room. I watched the games. It would be,
Yeah.
But they were the times. So I'm going to touch on Wales.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, we could touch on a lot of things. I could brought up our chats. That penalty miss against Romania.
Bowden.
Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah.
Where
were your games played back in the day, though? Was that Ninian Park?
Yeah, and Cardiff Arms Park as well. Yeah, so for the Millennium Stadium. Yeah.
Right.
And I always wonder, would things have been different if we qualified for that World Cup? Probably not. Because I don't think the money the Welsh FA put into it, it just wouldn't have carried it onto anything. As you can see going forward.
Romania took your spot for USA 94 in that playoff, didn't they?
Yeah. So if we scored that penalty, Romania scored late on, so it wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So you never know, really. But I'm going to look at Wales, the FIFA World Cup 1998, UEFA qualification Group 7. There we go. Group 7. Okay.
Now, I said to you before recording, mate, that this is a very difficult group, right? Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, you split the groups in half, and we're on par with San Marino. The rest of them fight it out themselves.
So who was in your group?
So we've got, obviously, San Marino, Netherlands, Turkey, and Belgium. All right. So I've got the scores up. So people who are listening,
I've
got the scores up, all right? So, I mean, it's probably on podcasts as well. The great Bobby Gould.
Yeah.
So Bobby Gould.
Bit Marmite, right, for Wales?
He's just off his head, wasn't he? He was just, he's on a different...
Because I've heard some players love him, some players didn't.
Yeah. If you ever get to read it, read Neville Southall's autobiography.
Yeah.
The Bin Man Chronicles. He goes into great length about just the
Bin Man Chronicles.
put it on here.
Brilliant.
Like, for example, picking a captain, like, I'll tell you a quick story. The picking the captain situation. So Neville Southall, I think Dean Saunders, Mark Hughes, and Vinnie Jones all put their hands up to kind of be a captain, to get nominated.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't be the one refusing Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, well, what happened was obviously, I think Saunders or someone got top votes, but that got scrapped. Bobby gave it to Vinnie.
Because I'm still imagining at this point in the changing room, Vinnie Jones is dressed like his character in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, like ready for the captain's armband with a sawn-off shotgun. Let's steady.
It was a joke. I mean, we're playing. Obviously, we're playing San Marino, so I've got a list here for the warm-up games.
Yeah.
So obviously you got England B, things like that. We're playing Leyton Orient. So before San Marino, we're playing Leyton Orient. We lose 2-1. Okay.
Mate, I thought you were joking when you mentioned Leyton Orient just a minute ago. You actually played Leyton Orient in a friendly before this?
Yeah.
What on earth?
Before one of the San Marino games. Okay. And then we played Cumbrian Town. We beat them 6-1. All right. So
because it's Cumbrian Town, right?
Yeah. League of Wales, Cumbrian Town. So we beat them 6-1, right? You've got gigs. There's actually a documentary on YouTube. And there's games on there as well. It's hilarious. So you got Giggs, Rush, Gary Speed, all the top players, right? He gets near the end of the game. The substitution. Gary Speed's coming off. Guess who's coming on?
No.
Bobby Gould.
You're not. Right? I was going to say Gould coming on.
Yeah. Guess who scores the 6th goal?
No. Bobby Gould.
Yeah.
What is this? Is this real? Like competitive?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You search Wales versus Cumbrian Town. Wales are playing, right?
Are you not setting yourself up for a failure with this though? Because you're not taking it seriously, are you?
He's trying to gel the team. His thing was gelling the players together because he doesn't get enough time.
By putting himself on?
Yeah.
That's like the equivalent of David Brent going, get the guitar. Like, cheer everybody up. Like, what on earth is that about?
So, you can't say. So, first 2 games, we beat San Marino 5-0 away, 6-0 at home.
We're on our way to France.
Okay, so this is another friendly. And I go to this friendly as well, right?
Right.
Wales play Rill. Okay.
Oh, hang on. So you're at this friendly?
I go to this game, yeah.
Okay.
Going to the game. So this is before we played Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Not the 7-1, the 3-1. So in the car, reading the paper. On the paper, it says, exclusive Bobby Gould. How playing Rill will take us to World Cup glory. All right. So this is how he's bigging up these games. Okay, cool. Right. No worries. All right. So, we win 3-0. He brings himself on again. He doesn't score. It's funny, the article there says, Bobby brings himself over and the crowd jeer.
They cheer.
Yeah. All right. So I found a headline. So here we go. I'll find the... Okay, where is it? There you go. Rill ride the Welsh Dragon hard. Look at that headline, right?
Oh, wow.
So Rill 0, Wales 3. Bobby Gould, matches like this, bring the squad together.
Is that also £18 for an MOT at Cambrian Auto Parts?
Yeah, Dad used to work there.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
Rill.
So Rill, right. Yeah. So
okay.
Had 2,500 people actually. So it's
Mate, as a Welsh fan here, right? I know you're young here, but what are you thinking when Bobby Gould comes on? Honestly,
it's just Wales, isn't it?
But that is like watching Graham Taylor put a full kit on and sub off Lineker, or what is that about?
So so Mark Hughes and Dean Saunders, they were some of the scorers.
Bobby Gould didn't get a diving header in this one then.
So off came Browning, Anderleg, Barry Horn, Gareth Taylor, Hughes were replaced by Wayne Phillips, Robbie Savage, Simon Davis, Jason Bowen, Gareth Owen, and 48-year-old Gould himself.
48, I mean...
Yeah. So the popular Welsh manager promptly drew Or good-natured jeers. Won't cover.
Good-natured cheers.
Yeah.
They hated it, basically.
Yeah, so that was before we lost to. So playing real will take us to World Cup glory. So we lost against Netherlands 3-1.
So, right,
And-
we're talking 2 games against San Marino. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
pointing
yeah.
at the screen. And
Yeah.
then you play real.
Yeah. So between so Leighton Orient and Cumberland Towns between the 2 San Marino games. Then we play real before the Netherlands.
What?
And Bobby Gould got the real manager to set his team up like how he thinks the Netherlands are going to play. All right. So
You are Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp.
So the formation is how real setup is how he thinks Netherlands going to play. All right. So you think Netherlands?
God.
Who we got? Dennis Bergkamp, Mark Overmars,
Kluivert.
Yeah.
The De Boers.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you get to obviously the Netherlands 7-1 game, and there we go. Where we go? Nightmare for Gold. Massacre.
Yeah, massacre. I mean, on that front headline of that paper, massacre. I mean, we're talking a huge font here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
World Cup nightmare for Gould.
Yeah. So then you've got, so after the 7-1, we go, a good 0-0 against Turkey. Not a bad, a Belgium 2-1 defeat. Belgium, so it's going all right, not as bad. Then 20th of August, 1997, Turkey 6, Wales 4.
What a game.
And Wales are 4-3 up, as I said. Yeah.
That's a very hostile game, though, in Turkey, right? I mean, the fans and the atmosphere are huge there, aren't they? So to go 4-3 up in Turkey is impressive in itself, right?
And then, obviously, we did, challenged against Belgium in that 3-2 defeat.
Oh.
Then you think Netherlands, Belgium qualified, and then Wales 4th.
Oh, mate.
Goals scored 20, conceded 21.
I mean,
yes.
To score 20 is pretty impressive. I mean, we know from looking at this table, the Netherlands at the time were a huge force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Belgium, they qualified for France 98 as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Turkey didn't, I know. San Marino, the poor whipping boys, but what a turbulent tournament.
Yes. And I could go on about this all night, but even doing a bit of research into, we've gone from Umbro to Lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Look at how this Lotto deal came ahead. All right. But before that, we'll talk about, I'll try and go through it quickly. So the Lotto year. So Lotto signed a contract with Wales. They were going to supply Welsh football, big contract.
Yeah.
All right. So 3rd of November 1996, this is in the paper. So Football Association Wales have launched an inquiry into the sponsorship row involving Welsh kit supplier Lotto and 2 Welsh sides. It's 3, but I'll mention the 2. So League of Wales clubs Newton and Conway have been stunned to receive bills of £7,500 for what they thought was free sponsorship for the European Games. So both clubs received a package of goods, kits, tracksuits, boots, polo shirts, which they believe was sponsored part of the deal from Lotto. And this was set up by then Lotto consultant Colin Gordon. Remember that name, right?
Yeah.
So he set up the deal. Okay. So it all gets confused. The Lotto UK managing director, Luigi Palzari, he says Lotto processed these orders as normal football orders, then discovered the clubs thought these goods were promised as a sponsorship deal, but we didn't know anything about it. Okay. All right. So Colin Gordon. All right. So do you know how this Lotto deal was set up? Bobby Gould was visiting Cardiff City manager Phil Neal. What he bumped into, so this is before the deal was all set up, what he bumped into Lotto rep Colin Gordon. And a chance meeting, a deal was struck. So Bobby Gould is striking a deal for Lotto to become the shirt sponsors of Wales, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's struck by, Bobby's met Colin. They've struck up a deal. Football Association of Wales have signed it off. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So, Then after this, Colin Gordon is no longer with Lotto. He's been given the boot. Here's a bit of information, right? Colin Gordon played for Wimbledon in 1987. Who was his manager?
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he played for Wimbledon and Bobby Gould was his manager.
What on earth?
Yes.
How long did you have Lotto kits for?
2 seasons, and then we went to Kappa.
And was that still Bobby Gould from there as well?
No, I think he was gone by then.
That's a little bit of a creepy stat there, mate.
Yes. So this Colin Gordon guy's doing deals.
And
these
this
clubs,
Italian Palazzo, or whatever his name was, sorry for Lotto. What's going on?
They just thought they're getting orders from teams for gear. They didn't think there's a sponsorship deal involved for the 2 teams who were playing in Europe.
So are they essentially saying we didn't actually agree to sponsor Wales?
I think it was a sponsorship. There was a deal with the Football Association Wales struck a deal with Lotto, but they didn't know the 2 teams who were playing in Europe at that time. We thought they were getting gear from Lotto.
Yeah.
Were getting sponsored. So they were ordering stock and then they get hit with a bill.
Oh my God.
But how is it that Colin Gordon played for Wimbledon and he's the guy who was setting up the deal with Bobby Gould?
This is almost like discovering that like Ray Finkel was Lois Einhorn in Ace Ventura, mate.
But it's like Terry Venables striking a deal with Umbro. What's he doing?
Yeah,
Stay in your lane.
I know.
You're like,
but stay in your lane, period. Bobby Gould putting himself on in a friendly, organising sponsorship deals. Who is this man?
and you think this is.
We need to do an episode on who is Bobby Gould.
Here you go.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry about the long-winded story, but I just thought it would be. Yeah.
Do not apologise. That was a great story. And I honestly think like stuff like that would have gone, well, it's not gone unnoticed, but in terms of footballing terms, I mean, that never happens now, right?
No.
I love that, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Long-winded, but that's all good. Excellent. All right. Whoa, what are we up to? We have time for the close show?
Yes, we do. Yeah. I mean, what do you want to cover off? For the football shirt?
Yeah, I guess you just...
I've got a few blinders.
Yeah.
What have you got with you, mate? Come on.
Okay, well, you've got your jacket. I'll get my jacket.
Yeah, so this is beautiful. Tell the listeners what you're holding up, Jonesy.
It's 92. Sorry, I think it's a 1992, 93 maybe. Maybe before or the same time as that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's got the FA actually written into the thing. Yeah, the England jacket. We're on all Graham Taylor today, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's got Umbro on the back.
Great tribute to Graham Taylor. Umbro on the back.
Yeah, sorry, mate. So what did you have? So you've got the...
It's full World Cup, but international still. So we're talking Italy, Diodora, World Cup 1994. Number 10. I thought as we're going to discuss his haircut, thanks to Adam's comment, I thought let's just dig out Robbie Baggio.
Oh.
I mean, the font itself on that, number 10.
And
the size of it. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, and I mean, on the collar, you've got the classic triangles as well. I think I remember, mate, all of the actual gear for Italy in that kind of tournament and around that time. The Diodora jackets, the polo shirts, the trousers, everything was absolutely mint for Italy, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
What else have you got, mate?
Well, I showed that Wales one. Oh, I've got this one. Yeah.
Oh, is that the Umbro Cup?
No, I think is it 92? I've got that one, I think. Yeah.
Just pulls out these Brazilian ones like they're just
Umbro heavy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. And that collar, the Brazil shirt there, though, the collar within it, the stripy collar, so good. Yeah. But the fact that that one's got the jacquard of the badges on the 95, is it 95, 94, 95?
That one?
Was that the World Cup winning one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the World Cup winning Brazil shirt.
It's got 3 stars and you got the 4 stars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not massive amounts of difference, though, in terms of style there, is there? But I've got the greatest shirt of all time for Germany. Again, we're going to cover this off in World Cup shirts, but just for today, the Germany 1994-96, I believe. Probably one of the greatest Germany shirts of all time, in my opinion. And it's the Flame Adidas template for you listeners. Obviously, screams Jurgen Klinsmann, this one. I've got no one on the back, but I mean, do you need it? Do you need it, Jonesy?
No,
Look at that collar.
I love that shirt.
Beautiful, isn't it? I've got the away as well, but I mean, those shirts were just absolutely epic. And I think from an international perspective, they're glorious.
All right. And obviously, give Australia a bit of love. I can't remember the years of these ones. We've got Socceroos.
Oh,
Look at that, eh?
that is incredible.
96?
I'd say it looks a bit mid-90s in terms of the collar.
Yeah. Look at that.
There's stripes on the sleeve as well.
So Australia home shirt. Yeah. And then this one. Oh. Long sleeve as well, this one.
Yeah, I mean, is this the home or the away?
I think so. No,
Home, is it?
Could be.
So what year is this one?
Oh.
So that's got to be 98, is it? 97?
Could be, yeah. Long sleeve as well.
I mean, that's a beautiful kit. Emerald green with yellow. Like, that's so smart, isn't it?
And I thought I did have another. I think that might be it. I can't be bothered.
We need to do. Look, we could be doing this for ages because we have literally got so many shirts for internationals. What we are going to do, Jonesy, we've agreed with this, haven't we? Because obviously we're all about the Prem for the 90s. When the Premier League season is over, we want to do a World Cup and a Euro special with these ones, don't we? Because I think we've got so much content to discuss. We just wanted to cover off international football and the kind of tournaments in between, the gap fillers.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we've covered that off well, mate. I think your stint on Wales has been class. The Bobby Gould has been beautiful.
Just had to get out there tonight, get my anger of 90s.
Yeah.
Wales.
Do you know what? It's a bit of therapy. It's memories.
Good.
Yeah. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. I think we should end the pod there, mate, because we've obviously. Oh wow, this has been a detailed pod. So on the bottom of the screen, Jonesy has very kindly put up to follow us on Instagram every week, guys. We want feedback. We want to hear your memories because we love doing memories, don't we, Jonesy?
We do. We love traveling down memory lane.
So I think the last episodes had some great feedback because it got people thinking, it got people reminiscing.
Yeah.
It stoked the fire in terms of bringing back those memories, and that's what we're doing it for. So please keep sending us messages, DMing us on our own Instagrams or on the That 90s Premier League podcast. Jonesy, where can people find you if they want to congratulate you on your awesome editorial skills?
Stop it. I'm at football.jonesy. Keep it simple. That's it.
Football.jonesy.
You'll find me. Yeah.
And if you want to find me, I am Woody W1988. Guys, thank you ever so much for listening. Yeah. We're on episode 4 and we're absolutely loving this. So you're making it awesome for us. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Thanks for listening on Spotify. Jonesy.
Hey guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Good night from me. Yes.
Good night from you and good afternoon from me.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.